lose all sense of reality and enter another world. Remember, do not underestimate the power of PlayStation.
Let's go with the first video game we played.
This one comes from Alex Samuels, a.k.a. Rundown A on the PSN. Over the weekend, I was thinking the first video game I have ever played. Mine was The Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap. I was one.
Wow, you're young.
We're old!
I played that in
Death?
I played that in college.
I was wondering what were the first video games and how old you were when you played them.
I was so positive that he was just going to end it at The Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, or Ocarina of Time at the very worst. But
yeah.
Minish Cap came out in 2004, 2005.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise. Okay.
So what the first?
I'm just depressed now.
First video game you played, and how old you were when you
We
played
really
it.
are old.
Yeah, I mean, it was an NES. I think my older brother got an NES when I was 2, and I remember the games we got were obviously Mario and Duck Hunt and Dragon Warrior, because we got a subscription to Nintendo.
Yeah,
Power.
they gave it away for free.
And that is one of the. I remember being 3 maybe and playing Dragon Warrior and being like, "Well, this doesn't make sense. Like this, I'm not enjoying this."
Yeah, a slime
I don't know what
appears.
this little blue thing is. I don't know what these. I can't read these words. I don't know. Can you read when you're 3?
A little
Not
bit.
a lot.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I think I was proficient at reading at 3, but
Yeah.
no.
You were out there.
I couldn't read until I was like
American
14.
history novels.
Sure. You couldn't read until Minish Cap. Yeah, I think it was one of those 2.
Yeah, mine is. I'm sure. I have to imagine at some point I'd seen a video game somewhere else, but none of it at all locked in until that one time we were walking through Toys R Us to buy Ghostbuster toys. And my mom made the mistake of going down the electronics aisle, and I caught the Ghostbusters logo on a Sega Master System cartridge. And I was like, what is that? She's like, it's a video game. I'm like, I want that for my birthday.
It's so funny that Ghostbusters game was the reason you became cursed to be a Sega person.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
If it would have been the NES version of Ghostbusters, completely different
it's so
trajectory.
funny, man. It's
Yeah,
so
but
funny
no,
that's how
where
it happened. Poor you.
That's how fanboys start. And
Poor
that was
you.
pre-kindergarten. Like,
Wow.
So that was.
Did you finish that game? Like, is that one of those hard?
No,
games? don't really remember.
I could never. I mean, I don't. It's not. I don't think it's hard now, probably as an adult, to get the
Yeah.
timing down and understand it, whatever. But like as a kid, no way.
Yeah.
I got to Zool once. I
Remember
got
the
or
first game you
Gozer. I
finished?
got to Gozer once. So the first game I finished.
Yeah,
No,
I'm trying to think back. Mine's probably Mario 3. I think
really.
it's with the warp whistle. It's a little easier.
Yeah. No, I remember that. Yeah, I could get into the building to go up to the top to fight Gozer and the 2 Terror Hounds, but I could never actually get there until it was one of those things where I stopped playing it and then came back years later and got to that point, and I was so excited and then died immediately.
Have you ever finished it?
No, I've never gone back to
That's
play
a-
it because
that's
it's like
streaming. You gotta stream that.
yeah, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like
You still have your
John
Master
Henry versus
System?
the train.
No, well, no, I have all the games and crap, but I don't have the master. You can get it off
Yeah.
ROMs and stuff now.
That's true. I don't know specifically what first games I played, but I remember my brother got, New York was a test market for NES, so we got we didn't get it at that Christmas '85, but we had it I think in '86. So I was like 2 or 3 depending on when that was. But I was, everyone knows that listens to me out for a long time. My brother was very instrumental in getting me into video games, and because he's 11 years older than me, and he and I used to play games all the time. So the earliest games I know I could play proficiently myself, and I was probably like 3 or 4. I was good at Ice Climber, which is why I have a special place for those characters.
I thought you were gonna point at your bag. That's why I have a disclaimer tattoo.
I wish I should. I was really, really good at Mario 1. Like I was like absurdly good at that game. I don't know. I play it now and I'm good. I can beat it and stuff. You can beat Mario 1 in like 10 minutes, but it's. I don't know how the hell I was so good at that game when I was a kid. Like timing on World 8-1, 8-2, and all those, like where you just run under the Hammer Brothers
Yep.
and stuff like that. Like I don't know how young Colin figured that out. And
No.
the big one to
Young
me that was
Colin.
really, really hard, but I did beat when I was really little, was Kid Icarus. And that game is tough.
Yeah, that game's still super.
I remember just you had passwords, so you get a little further. But a lot of those early NES games, we had terrible NES games too, like Athena, which is considered like one of the worst games on the console. Deadly Towers, which is arguably the worst game on the console. All the games with awesome box art.
Yeah.
We basically were fooled by.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But there's just there's some Goonies 2 and which for years I thought there was a Goonies 2 movie that I never saw, but it was just that the game was Goonies 2. Konami did that game.
Continuing the story, it was canon.
Yeah, it was just weird. I remember being like, "There's a Goonies 2." Like I remember at like 7, 8, 9 years old, like playing the game and being like, I guess I'll rent it sometime. And then I honestly don't think until I was like in college that I realized that there wasn't a Goonies sequel. I'm like, but there's a game.
Yeah.
And they're like, that's just the game. Fester's Quest. was another one.
West. I remember that Nintendo Power cover.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of them. Castlevania, of course. Mega Man.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I played Mega Man. This is a big one for me
Yeah.
because Mega Man ended up being like my obsession, as we all knew when I was a kid. I was like 5 or 6. I went to we used to do Italian Sunday dinners at my grandma's house on Long Island, and next to them was a nice family, and they had a couple kids, and we became friends with them over the years, and actually one of the kids. So this one guy who ended up becoming, as an adult, he's a lawyer now, but he was a David Letterman recurring character called The Bar in the 90s. I don't know if you guys remember that at all. It was like a guy that was in law school that David Letterman just ended up befriending, and they called him The Bar.
What?
And he used to just come on the show like a couple, and that was that guy. So he was downstairs playing, and he had like a nice finished basement, and he was playing this one game, Mega Man. It was the first one. It was the blue select screen with 6 characters. I was like, what is this? And I was like enthralled with it.
Yeah. Mega Man is fascinating to watch. I remember when the first time I ever saw Mega Man was on. My mom would wake me up so she could drop me off on her way to work. So I'd get up at like 5:30, and at like 6 o'clock in the morning there was like a kids game show on where they played video games. And I don't remember the name of it. I can't remember any of the details.
Is it Nick
really.
Arcade?
I don't think it was because I remember being like maybe local to Chicago, but I don't know. I'm hazy on all that information because I was so young. It was not Svengoolie. I know Rich Coase very well. It was not the Coase Zone. It was not Svengoolie. But yeah, I remember the first time they went to that screen for Mega Man. Like, what is this? And then it was like on Nintendo. I was like, well, I'll never know it. Because screw Nintendo. I'm Sega for life.
Yeah, that was just like, I remember that. So I used to spend so much time in that basement just playing games, even on SNES later in our years. And like I remember that so well because I was like, what the hell is this? This is awesome. And then I was like, I'm going to master this series.
Yeah.
And I went and I dedicated most of my childhood to Mega Man.
Good. Most of your adult life too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Users lose all sense of reality and enter another world. Remember, do not underestimate the power of PlayStation.